Friday, April 28th. We here in Colorado are waiting to see if we get 2 or 3 inches or 15 or 18 inches of snow tonight, tomorrow. Standard spring occurrence. The basic interest rate economics this week, pay no attention to a GDP report that sounds weak. It followed a very strong one. We're likely to go back to strength. A bunch of data next week will tell us if there's any merit in what might be a slowdown. The big deal is the Trump tax plan. And next to this video is a link to my weekly, which is an effort in a single page to describe the entire history, structure, and politics of the United States tax code. Drinking while reading it is maybe a good idea, may not be a good idea. It makes dense reading, but it's all there. And the bottom line in this, I'm now 68 years old. I filed my first income tax return for income I earned on a summer job when I was 14 for the tax year 1963. After I wrote, the consequences of age come to me slowly, but it hadn't occurred to me while I was writing it that I filed that first tax return exactly at the halfway mark between the first creation of American income tax as we know it in 1913 and today. And a gag line that I use when speaking to audiences is, you know, the older I get, the more things I think I've seen firsthand. So in the copy, under the link is the detail, but the bottom line is, since that first income tax in 1913, there's been one meaningful tax reform, and it was in 1986. And it took 2 solid years to put it together. It was put together quietly on a bipartisan basis by people who trusted each other in the Congress and in the administration, but quietly, no grandstanding. And even with those advantages, the only way that it was feasible was an income tax code, a tax code in general at the time, which was packed with goodies and giveaways and freebies and that needed to go, that were producing non-economic activity, in exchange for a reduction in brackets. So the revenue neutral, pleasant to the right side because it reduced the rate of taxation, pleasant for the left side because it closed loopholes. Since 1986, we have busily been closing a great many loopholes, and we've also re-raised the brackets. The maximum tax brackets for income taxation today look just like they were before the '86 tax reform. The reality is that what we need is a limitation in future entitlement spending, Medicare and Social Security, probably done by means testing. Old fogies that actually have pretty good income shouldn't receive as much in the way of Medicare and Social Security support as those who have lesser means. The Trump tax plan, I mean, it isn't really a plan, it's an outline that was on one sheet of paper. And it's done a lot of damage, and it's quiet, and nobody really wants to talk about the damage, but to roll out something as premature and half-baked as that, it's such a completely bad idea that has no chance of passage, undercuts the economic advisors in the Trump administration. It costs them face in Congress and everywhere else, and means that nobody particularly wants to trust them because they don't have any authority. The announcement of the alleged reform is damaging to business. Today, there isn't a businessman in the United States who has a better idea what the tax burden will be next year than business people had 2 weeks ago. Congress is mightily annoyed. The silence from Ryan and McConnell since the announcement on Wednesday is thunderous. They haven't said a word. To get a tax reform done requires an awful lot of horse trading, best done in private and always done in Congress. And the White House can participate, but efforts by the White House to drive the negotiations, nothing ever happens. Last piece is the evidence in the markets. We had a good couple of stock market days on Monday and Tuesday on pretty good corporate earnings, most in the tech center. And all of a sudden on Wednesday, when the new tax plan appeared, markets just stopped trading. Everything stopped. Not because of chaos, but because it's just very hard to tell what's real and what will happen, what won't happen, what's noise and what's real. On that note, I hope that 18 inches of snow tonight is not real. Do have a good weekend.